When I went to replace my bank card, the teller casually mentioned that I had a quarterly patent income of $300,000 under my name. But as the patent inventor, I had never seen a single cent of it. Following the account trail, I discovered that over 5 years, my wife, Trent, had not only secretly transferred over $5 million in patent fees that rightfully belonged to me, but she had also been supporting a lover behind my back. When I confronted her, she looked at me with utter contempt. What can you do besides tinker with tech? Even her lover showed up at my door, tossing a check at me. $50,000, stay away from Trent. I looked at the despicable pair in front of me and suddenly smiled. They thought I was a pushover, a useless academic they could easily manipulate. They had no idea that everything they possessed was originally mine. It was 2 p.m. and I stood at the bank counter, reporting my old card lost. I'd lost the card last week, but hadn't gotten around to replacing it. The teller took my ID, checked the system, and suddenly paused. "Sir, you have a regular deposit of patent licensing fees under your name. Would you like to link it to your new card?" I froze. What patent licensing fees? She turned the screen to show me. I squinted for 3 seconds, and my mind exploded. The screen clearly displayed a regular quarterly deposit of $300,000 into a bank card under my name that I'd never seen before. The deposit history began 5 years ago and continued until now. 5 years, 20 quarters, $6 million. My fingers began to tremble. I remembered 5 years ago, I was burning the midnight oil in the lab, tirelessly doing R&D. My wife, Trent, came to me with a stack of documents, asking me to sign. She said it was for registering a company, just going through the procedures, and needed my signature as a tech partner. I was so busy back then, I didn't even lift my head. I just grabbed the pen and signed. She smiled and said, "Ethan, you just focus on your tech. I'll handle the business side of things. You're a tech guy. You don't get business." From then on, I was sidelined, becoming a nominal consultant. She never discussed company matters with me. Every time I asked, she'd say, "Don't worry about it. It's barely anything." And now, this card received $300,000 every quarter. So, this was what she meant by barely anything. I took a deep breath. My hands stopped shaking. My mind had never been clearer. Link it to my new card. My voice was so calm it surprised even me. From now on, every deposit should be transferred directly to my personal account. She glanced at me, didn't ask any more questions, and began the process. 5 minutes later, the transaction was complete. At 7 p.m., I returned home. The house was empty. Trent was still away on a business trip. She had gotten increasingly busy these past 2 years, traveling internationally at least once a month, saying she was negotiating deals, meeting clients. I used to believe her. Now, thinking back, what was she really busy with? I walked into her study and opened her computer. I tried the password 3 times. It was her birthday. I logged into her email and started sifting through her correspondence. The more I read, the colder my hands grew. Over the past 5 years, the company had signed 7 patent licensing agreements. Every single agreement licensed my patents. And in the signature field, it was Trent's name every single time. My patents, my technology, she took them to sell for profit. Yet, she only gave me $1,000 a month for living expenses, claiming the company's not doing well. We need to be careful with money. $1,000. I kept scrolling, finding a contact named Kevin. The email exchanges started 2 years ago. The content slowly shifted from pleasant to work with to miss you. Can't wait for you to come back. There were also a few photos. Trent was leaning against a man in a suit, smiling brightly, with the Eiffel Tower in the background. That was last year, when she said she was going to France for an industry summit. I stared at the photos, my knuckles turning white. 5 years. She had lied to me For 5 years. I shut the laptop, leaning back in the chair as the night deepened outside the window. At 2 a.m., the doorbell rang. Someone was frantically ringing the bell and pounding on the door. I rose from the sofa, walked slowly and deliberately to the door, and opened it. Trent stood outside, her hair disheveled, eyes red, dragging a suitcase, breathless. She had clearly taken a cab straight from the airport. Ethan, have you lost your mind? She stormed in, grabbing my collar. Why did you touch that card? Do you even know what you're doing? I looked down at her hand, clutching my collar, and smiled. Trent, I was just about to ask you, what kind of money is on that card? She paused, her eyes flickering. That's the company's operating capital. If you mess with it, there will be huge problems. Company's operating capital? I pushed her hand away, my voice calm. A quarterly patent licensing fee of $300,000 is the company's operating capital? Trent's face changed. How did you know? I also know that you and Kevin were managing those patent fees for me, right? She took a step back, her expression flustered, but quickly regained her composure. She looked at me, slowly sat on the sofa, and lit a cigarette. I had never seen her smoke before. You went through my emails? She asked. Yep. She exhaled a puff of smoke and smiled. It wasn't a guilty smile, but a relieved one. Good. She leaned back against the sofa, looking at me, her eyes devoid of guilt, only a strange frankness. Ethan, what do you want to know? I'll tell you. Kevin isn't just a client. We've been together for 2 years. She tapped the ash from her cigarette, her tone as flat as if she were commenting on the weather. You didn't know anything for these past 5 years, and you seemed quite happy, didn't you? I clenched my fist, my knuckles turning white. She glanced at me and stubbed out her cigarette. So stop making trouble. It's useless for you to link that card back. The patent licensing agreement has the company's seal on it, not your personal one. You won't get it back that easily. She stood up, patting down her dress. You're just a techie. You don't get business, and you certainly can't win this fight. She dragged her suitcase into the master bedroom and shut the door. I was left alone in the living room. I stood rooted to the spot, feeling a chill run through me. She didn't even bother lying to me anymore. The next morning, I left for work. As I reached the entrance of my apartment complex, a black Porsche pulled up to the curb. The window rolled down, and a man in sunglasses smiled at me. You're Ethan? I stopped. Who are you? He took off his sunglasses, revealing a pair of narrow eyes. Kevin Matthews. My blood rushed to my head. He leaned against the car door, sizing me up, a playful smirk on his lips. Trent told me you made a scene yesterday. I came to check in and have a chat. Nothing to chat about. I turned to leave, but he spoke calmly behind me. Ethan, I mean no harm. Honestly, I admire you. Your tech work is truly excellent. But just having technology isn't enough. Your patents, without Trent's business operations, aren't worth a dime. I stopped. So, I'm here to make you an offer. He walked up to me, pulling a check from his suit pocket. $50,000. You cancel the new card link and stop meddling in company affairs. He held the check out to me. I stared at that check. I barely made $15,000 a year. This was 5 years of my salary. But those patents had earned $6 million in 5 years. He was offering $50,000 to get rid of me? No. Kevin raised an eyebrow. Ethan, don't be foolish. He took back the check and patted my shoulder. That touch sent shivers down my spine. Go home and think about it. This offer won't be available again. He got into his car, the engine roared, and he sped away. I stood there, clenching my fists. At noon, I didn't go to work. Instead, I went to the local intellectual property office. After 2 hours of searching, I found the crucial information. The 7 patent licensing agreements listed Trent Technologies as the licensor. But in the patent holder section, it clearly stated Ethan. This meant the company only had the right to operate and use the patents, but the ownership of the patents remained with me. The agreement Trent had me sign back then only licensed the patents for the company's use. And there was a clause in the licensing contract. The patent holder had the right to terminate the license at any time. I hadn't even read it when I signed it years ago. But now this clause was my biggest trump card. If I terminated the license, all of Trent Technologies' product lines would lose their technical foundation overnight. $1.2 million in patent fees a year? They wouldn't get a single cent. That afternoon, I visited a law firm, finding a lawyer who specialized in intellectual property. Adriana Hayes, what's the process if I want to terminate a patent license? Adriana Hayes reviewed the contract and nodded. According to Article 11 of the contract, the patent holder can terminate the licensing agreement with 60 days written notice. The other party has no right of veto. So, I just need to send a lawyer's letter, and 60 days later, the company can't use my patents anymore? Correct. Good. I drafted the lawyer's letter, but I didn't send it immediately. I would wait until all my chess pieces were in place before making my move. Leaving the law firm, I stopped at an electronics store. I bought a professional voice recorder, palm-sized, capable of continuous recording for 72 hours. Back home, I slipped it into my shirt pocket. From today on, I would record every word Trent and Kevin said. The more arrogant they were, the better it would look in court later. I didn't make a scene. I went to work and came home as usual every day, and I didn't even mention the new card again. She thought I'd caved. On the 5th day, she probed me. Ethan, have you thought things through about that card? I sat on the sofa watching TV, not even looking up. Yeah, you're right. I don't understand business. Why bother messing around? She sighed in relief and smiled, sitting next to me. That's what you should have thought earlier. Just focus on your tech. I've got everything else handled. I smiled, but said nothing. She picked up her phone and walked onto the balcony to make a call. I perked up my ears. Don't worry, he hasn't done anything else. Right, he's just a naive academic. Scare him a little and he'll back down. Her voice drifted in intermittently with the breeze. When are you coming back from your business trip? I miss you. I gripped the remote control, my knuckles white, but my face showed nothing. The voice recorder in my pocket quietly did its work. On the 8th day, my mother-in-law, Clara, arrived. Clara walked in and got straight to the point. Ethan, Trent told me about the scene you made a while ago. She sat opposite me at the dining table, hands clasped, her face full of impatience. What are you unhappy about? She feeds you. She takes care of you. She never lets you worry about company matters. You're just a tech guy. Why are you so nosy? I paused, a forkful of food midway to my mouth. Mom, I was just curious. I didn't mean anything else. Curious? Clara sneered. You signed the papers, you got what you were supposed to get. Don't go overstepping your bounds. Trent, sitting nearby, tried to smooth things over, smiling. Mom, that's enough, he gets it now. Clara glared at me. Good that he gets it. She pulled a card from her purse and slapped it on the table. This is the new allowance card Trent got you. From now on, it's $1,400 a month. That's $400 more than before. Pretty generous, wouldn't you say? $1,400. My patents made $1.2 million a year, and they gave me a raise to $1,400, acting like it was a huge favor. I picked up the card and smiled. Thank you, Mom. Clara nodded, satisfied. That's more like it. A man should be grateful for what he has and not make trouble. After dinner, Trent walked Clara downstairs. I sat at the dining table, turning the $1,400 card over and over in my hand. On the 10th day, I received a message from Adriana Hayes. Mr. Ethan, I looked into Trent Technologies' corporate registration filings for the past 3 years. I found that 3 months ago, the company added a new shareholder, Kevin, holding 25%. His capital contribution method was technical investment. I stared at the screen, a cold laugh escaping my lips. Technical investment? Using my technology, what kind of investment was he making? They kicked me out, claimed my technology as their own, and even let my wife's lover use my patents to gain equity. What a masterful deception. On the 15th day, everything was as usual. Trent came home on time every day, cooked, cleaned, and occasionally acted sweet with me. The better she acted, the more disgusted I felt, but I kept it in. Because there was one last step remaining. That afternoon, I received a call from Adriana Hayes. Mr. Ethan, all the documents are ready. Come over, and we'll do a final review. I took half a day off and went to the law firm. On Adriana Hayes' desk, a thick stack of files was spread out. Let's go through them. She pointed to the first document. First, the letter of counsel for patent license termination. Second, the formal complaint submitted to the court. Third, the divorce petition. I looked at the 3 documents and took a deep breath. And this. I pulled the voice recorder from my pocket and placed it on the table. Over these 15 days, I recorded more than 70 hours of content. This includes Trent's confession about her relationship with Kevin, her admission of concealing patent income, and Kevin's own statements to me. Adriana Hayes listened to a few key recordings, her eyebrows raising higher and higher. Mr. Ethan, these recordings are fully admissible as evidence in court. She closed the folder and looked at me. Are you sure you want to leave no room for a treat? I smiled. Adriana Hayes, it's been 5 years. They embezzled over $5.5 million from me, stole my technology, slept with my wife, and still think giving me $1,400 for living expenses is a huge favor. Even today, they still think I'm just a naive academic who can't stir anything up. I stood up, then let them see how I stir up a storm.